Hey, what's up, y'all?
Hey guys.
What's going on? So we're gonna react to this video with this pagan, this Wiccan, and this witch, basically, talking about Christmas and the true origins of Christmas, and also this video where they basically erected an altar in Iowa in the state house, and we're gonna give our thoughts about it. It's gonna be a little quick history lesson, maybe some things that you didn't know about Christmas. And mean, because I know a lot of people celebrate Christmas. We used to celebrate Christmas, but after finding out these things, it's like there's no going back. But just a quick history lesson. So let's get into it.
If you are visiting the Iowa State House over the next couple of weeks, you will see this in the rotunda. It's a holiday display put up by the Satanic Temple. KCCI's Bo Bowman went to the State House today to find out more about it.
The supporters of this group say if there could be a Christmas tree here in the Capitol, then they can display this put on by the Iowa Satanic Temple.
We're going to really relish the opportunity to be represented in a public forum. We don't have a church on every street corner.
Lucian Greaves, co-founder of the Satanic Temple, says this satanic display is a symbol for their right of religious freedom. He says if you don't like it, don't look at it.
My feeling is that if people don't like our displays in public forums, they don't have to engage with them. They don't have to view them.
It's a very dark, evil force. And I truly hope people know how to battle that.
Shelley Flockhart from Dallas Center says she was shocked to see it at the Capitol.
Okay, come on in.
Flockhart organized a prayer group on Wednesday around the Christmas tree in the center of the rotunda to oppose the satanic display near the stairwell. She calls it dark and evil and says Christians should spiritually fight against it.
One, I hope people realize spiritual warfare is real.
She should have knocked that thing over.
Evil, satanic forces that are trying to infiltrate our state.
I'm told the altar here will be on display at the State House for 14 days. At the State House, Bo Bowman, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.
By the way, the Satanic Temple says it is a federally recognized non-theistic group that uses satanic symbols as a way to convey its message. The temple's website says its work includes publicly confronting hate groups and lobbying for abortion rights. It says it does not believe in the existence of Satan or the supernatural.
So let's play this other one. This is with the Wiccan basically exposing this Christmas thing.
Out here who think that Christmas is the original holiday at this time of year, and we kind of gently, I know Frank and I kind of gently nudge our Christian friends and say, just remember, you got all this stuff from us because we started this. The tradition of Santa actually comes from the tradition of the Oak King and the Holly King. And Santa is actually the Holly King who dies at this time of year and gives way to the Oak King to bring back the springtime, because the Oak King reigns during the spring and summer and the Holly King reigns during the fall and winter. And so Santa's ride is kind of his passing the hat off to the Oak King for the spring and summer. This is a very pagan holiday because it is. Also, the Christmas tree, our Christmas tree, or our Yule tree as we refer to it, is a very pagan holiday. And what they're doing is bringing in the greenery into your house so that you're bringing in life and vitality and all that the evergreens represent.
Wow. That's crazy. That's real crazy. What's interesting to me is that he said, well, they can bring the Christmas tree in, so why can't we bring our stuff in? We don't have a church on every corner. We're living in a time where these Satanists feel like they can come out because they feel like it's the right environment for them to feel comfortable to share their beliefs on the news, like freely, when everybody knows Satan is evil. Everybody knows this. Even in movies, they always depict Satan as being evil. And if they try to depict him as being good, he eventually, reveals who he truly is, you see? Right. So like, everybody knows all religions have a depiction of Satan, as being evil. In the Old Testament, they tried to bring Dagon in the temple and near the Ark of the Covenant. And the Bible said that the Ark of the Covenant broke the Dagon in half. So God is not going to let any idol or anything stand next to anything that he considers holy or has made holy. When you're in this world is Babylon. And when you're in this matrix, born into this matrix, the world makes it hard for us to be separate. You see, because we've been born here, with all these different things, the TV shows, religion, entertainment, the food. Like even Starbucks has a logo of Ishtar as their logo. So it's like we've been seeing these things over and over. So now when it's time to really understand the truth, it's hard to come out of it.
No, I don't believe it.
When you follow Jesus, it's a sanctification process, but he starts opening up your eyes to certain things to make you more holy. You see, that's the whole objective. In the Old Testament, it said that he was trying to make us a kingdom of priests, a nation of priests. That was the main goal. So before I get into this little history lesson, you have a comment?
Yeah, and what came to my mind was this is a Baphomet statue that they built, and then you have the Christmas tree, but the Christmas tree has the same spirit behind it. Satan is not going to come against his own kingdom, because a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. So it's kind of like when I'm looking at it, I see the evil side with the Baphomet on one end of the Capitol, and then the Christmas tree on the other side. So you have two parts, and this is what the Bible talks about when it says that Satan masquerades as an angel of light. So that's what we're trying to explain in this video, how Christmas is a pagan holiday. You just heard it from the witch herself. We're going to just go into a little history lesson.
So let's get into this, y'all. When you think about Christmas, like as a kid, this is what we think about: Christmas trees, Mariah Carey, Santa, Grinch, what I'm saying? All these movies and
Home Alone.
Home Alone. We all have seen all these things our whole life.
And I was one of those people that love Christmas. I enjoyed decorating, putting up the Christmas tree, leaving it up I literally left the Christmas tree up for like a whole year. Like I didn't even take it down. And I had the lights all over the mantle and everything. So Christmas was definitely one of my favorite holidays, but God convicted me, and now I'm just we're gonna explain the history behind how it is a pagan holiday.
Christmas was never celebrated by the first century Christians. Peter didn't celebrate it. None of the disciples celebrated it. It took all the way to the 4th century for them to celebrate Christmas. The celebration of the holiday of Christmas is not a biblical concept. Nowhere in the Bible are we given the date of Christ's birth, and nowhere in Scripture is there an account that there was ever a commemoration of the occasion of Christ's birth. Christmas was not celebrated, commemorated, or observed either by the apostles or in the apostolic church for at least the first 300 years of church history. So why didn't they celebrate Christmas during the first century church? Why didn't they celebrate it? Christmas first came on the church scene about AD 440 when the Roman Catholic Church sought to incorporate Saturnalia, which honored Saturn, in the Roman celebration of Natalis Solis Invicti, birthday of the unconquerable sun, both of which were celebrated on December 25th. The early church, in an attempt to get rid of the pagan holiday, declared December 25th to be the day to celebrate the birthday of the Son of God, right? Now, what's interesting is that during this time in the early church, you had the pagans, had them worshiping the sun, you had them worshiping all the planets and all these different things like they've been doing forever. It has not changed. So this is from the first post. It says, the Roman Empire, which had not embraced Christianity until the 3rd century, right? That would make sense because, like I said, they didn't celebrate Christmas until the 4th century. So they waited all the way to the 3rd century because, remember, the Roman Catholic Church was persecuting the Christians. Okay. It says it says the Roman Empire, which had not embraced Christianity until the 3rd century, used to observe the rebirth of the unconquered sun, Sol Invictus, on December 25th. This event mirrored the well-known Roman festival as Saturnalia. It also heralded the return of longer days post the winter solstice, during which people feasted and exchanged gifts. It was also the birth of Indo-European god Mirtha, right? So you have another false god named Mirtha, and they said it was also her birthday also. It says who was worshipped by Roman troops as a symbol of dedication and enlightenment. And notice that it said in this article, Sol Invictus, right? This is a Roman sun god. This is what they worshipped. When you go to the Satanic temple, there shows their holidays. During the 3rd century, right? 3rd and 4th century, all the way to the 9th century, Christianity was being preached throughout the whole world. And you had people who were pagans. You had people who were a part of different societies and different cultures and religions, and they were becoming Christian. But they brought over their pagan rituals and their pagan practices, and they merged it together. Listen to this. It says this is an article basically talking about Mirtha, the false god from Rome, and it's talking about how they merged these festivals together. They merged the birth of Jesus Christ, which was not even on December 25th, right? So that's a lie. It's not the truth, so it's a lie. And then they merged the birth of Mithra, right? This false god, which also they said her birthday was on December 25th. They merged it together. So this has nothing to do with Jesus of the Bible, because it's all based on a lie. This is a different. You can even say that this is a different Jesus that they're talking about. This is not even the Jesus of the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. And the whole holiday is called Christmas. It's not even called Jesus Mass. It's not called Yeshua Mass. It's called Christ Mass. So that can be anybody that they recognize as an anointed one, because that's what the word means. Christ means an anointed one. It appears that the annual celebration held on December 25th on the winter solstice was the most important celebration of the cult. It was believed that Mithra was born on that day, December 25th, hence the birthday of the unconquered sun. Later, the practice of the occult seemed to be gained much popularity. With the advent of Christianity, a number of pagan practices which could not be abandoned found their way into this new religion. Talking about Christianity, okay? We know Christianity is not religion, but y'all know what the article is trying to say. Like, this was on the merge of this gospel is being preached, and these people were being converted, but they were still, a part of paganism. Still, you come to Christ, but you're still bringing your old ways with you, and merging it together. Because the Bible doesn't talk about you celebrating Jesus' birth. The Bible says, not to mix practices that the heathens and the Gentiles and all these different people were doing together. And it has grown from all the way from the 4th century all the way to 2023, and we're still doing these things. You see what I'm saying? It's about mixing, and God was always against mixing his holy days with these pagan rituals. And this is just a sanctification process. I know that these things are hard to swallow, but it's the truth. It's the truth. This world is built on paganism. This world is built on witchcraft. This world is built on pagan festivals. And, it's almost like nobody even thinks about it like this. Like, it's almost like if a Hindu, right, said, you know what? On your day where the Feast of Tabernacles, right? A holy day that's God told the Jews to do right in the Bible, and take that holy day, and the Hindus come over and they say, we want to bring Vishnu over and replace that with Vishnu. You what? Nobody does that. But when it comes to Christianity, it seems like everybody wants to merge and mix and do all these different things. Like,
And when you do that, it becomes defiled.
exactly. Nobody does this but us. We the only ones that want to mix, and God told us to be separate. And it takes time to understand that. But this is gonna merge into what you have to say.
Yeah, and even with all the pagan holidays that Sama just mentioned, even like that, you can think about like Genesis chapter 10, verses 18 and 10, where it talks about Nimrod, and it talks about how he was a mighty hunter before the Lord, and he was the first one to organize the first secular government, Babel, the Tower of Babel, and so with that being said, he pretty much was the one to gather all these people together to build this tower to come against God. Yeah, so the story with Nimrod was that when Nimrod died, his wife, Semiramis, she had another son, and she basically said that it was a reincarnation of Nimrod, her husband, her first husband. So basically, she conceived without sexual relation and gave birth to Tammuz. And in scripture, Ezekiel 8, verse 13 through 14, this is God showing Ezekiel what the priests were doing in the temple. It says, and he said to me, turn again and you will see greater abominations that they are doing. So he brought me to the door of the north gate of the Lord's house, and to my dismay, women were sitting there weeping for Tammuz. And then in Ezekiel 8, verse 16, it says, so he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and there at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men with their backs toward the temple of the Lord and their faces toward the east, and they were worshiping the sun toward the east. So my point is that they were worshiping other gods. They were worshiping the sun god. And this has been a practice with all of the Gentile nations. And God told the Israelites, he told them to come out from them, not to worship their gods, to be separate. He brought them out of Egypt for that reason. And the first commandment was in Exodus 20, verse 1 through 3. He said, it says, and God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. He told them in Jeremiah 10, 1 through 4, he said, do not follow the ways of the heathen. He says, thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. So when you look at the definition of heathen, heathen in Hebrew is goy. And that word means nation or Gentiles. So anyone who's not a Jew. Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, and work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. So this is the scripture explaining how they were taking out the tree from the forest and they were adorning it, decking it with silver and gold. And basically this was due to their fertility gods. This is what God was telling them not to do, not to be a part of. It says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, 3-5, it says, "But even if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, whose minds the God of this age has blinded, who do not believe. Yet lest the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who was the image of God, should shine on them." So the enemy has blinded the people in this world to believe a lie. He doesn't want them to come to the truth. He doesn't want them to come to Jesus. He doesn't want them to honor him, to revere him. He wants you to worship yourself. You know, Christmas is pretty much a holiday where people are going out and they're buying as much as possible, giving gifts and receiving gifts in return. That's what it's about. You know, people who are Christian, yeah, they'll celebrate Christmas in the church and they'll say Jesus is the reason for the season. But the majority of the people in the world, in America, or not just in America, in the world, when Christmas comes around, it's more so about what am I getting for Christmas?
This is like the enemy, like masquerading as light.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when we see something that feels good, we associate it with it being good.
Right.
But we don't understand the spiritual connotation behind certain things.
Right. And so, and God is holy. He's perfect. He's holy. And this is not of God. This has nothing to do with God. And they know that, but in this situation where they're trying to make it seem like, well, we want what they have. If they are able to celebrate their beliefs, then we should be able to celebrate our beliefs. And the way that the world is going and the culture in America is so slowly but surely getting away or moving away from Christianity.
By what we've seen in the past 24 hours, which is an agenda initiated to ensure that we counsel all faith-based organizations that partner with our school district. Because the law says that what we do for one organization, we must do for all.
Reggie Carrick's a parent at Chimney Rock Elementary, and he joins me now. Reggie, what was your reaction when you heard that the Satanic Temple is holding an after-school club at an elementary school?
Okay, first of all, good morning. I can't say that I was shocked because I wasn't shocked because we have already taken God, or they rather have already taken God out of school and prayer out of school, and they invited the devil in. So I can't say I was shocked because right now we don't have any covering over our school system. And when I mean covering, we don't have God protecting us anymore.
Everyone knows that there's good and there's evil. And Satan represents evil because he is evil. No matter how you try to, or how they try to paint him as someone who's good, someone who is of, I don't know, like they just make it seem like we're just delusional. Like, no, we read the word and we know that Satan wants to kill, steal, and destroy, and he's coming for the children. That's why they're coming into school now and after school club programs. In Hosea 4, verse 6, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge." We reject God's knowledge. We reject his word. We reject his laws. We reject him telling us how to live and do his will.
And it's getting harder to do that when you have all these different distractions.
Exactly. You know, it goes back to the Garden of Eden. God clearly told Adam and Eve not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and they disobeyed. So it's the same play. Like Satan came, he tempted them. He made them feel like they didn't have everything that they needed. And Eve took from the tree, and now we're here today. And it's the same thing. So he tries to come and tempt Christians with these pagan holidays and make it seem like it's innocent, to make it seem like it's for God. But it has nothing to do with God. He taps into your emotions and he makes you feel good. Like, oh, this is something that's joyful. It's, our family is together and our friends and we're having fun and we're partying. But the enemy doesn't care if you're having fun or if you're with your family or if you're partying or if you're exchanging gifts, loving on one another. He doesn't care because he's still working behind the scenes because it's rooted in everything that he stands for. God is nowhere involved in any of this.
They know where these holidays come from. You can't forget about this. Krampus, can't forget about this. This is where the whole thing, this is the real story of Christmas, because Christmas is not an American holiday. No one questions where things come from. We just celebrate stuff.
Celebrate it.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for listening. That wraps up, our reaction to these two videos and our thoughts about this Christmas thing.
And we just want you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to the video, and make sure you leave your comments in the description on the first video and the second video with them talking about the true meaning of Christmas.
Exactly. Thank you. Appreciate it. Peace.